Here we see an expression of 4 terms. Can we factor this? Well, the first thing to look for is, does the expression have a greatest common factor for all the terms? Is there something that we could pull out of every term, perhaps? I see here that there actually isn't anything they all share in common. But that doesn't mean that it's not factorable, because we could try a different method called factoring by grouping. And the way factoring by grouping works is we're going to separate into 2 groups, as the name suggests. So put parentheses around 2 of your terms, and then another set of parentheses around the other 2 terms. Notice, though, that we do have plus between them. It's not like binomial times binomial like we had seen in the previous video. There's not multiplication between these, it's still addition. And what we want to do next is see if within the group do they share anything in common. So here, my 2a and my 2, I notice they have a greatest common factor of 2. Okay, and then what about my BA plus B? Well, they have a greatest common factor of B. So I actually want to pull these things out of the individual groups. So I'll do that in the next line. Pull a 2 out front, and then divide each term by 2. Over here, I'll pull a B out front and divide each by B. Now let's just rewrite the results. We'll get A plus 1 here. And over here, we'll have A plus 1. Now, if you get it to where they match, the things in parentheses, the A plus 1 on the left matches with the A plus 1 on the right, that's good. That means it will be factorable by grouping. But we still have to do one more step. And sometimes the last step is the hardest one to understand. So I'll try to explain it with an analogy here. If we would have had 2 times apple plus B times apple, what would they share in common? The apple, right? So they would have a greatest common factor of apple. And then that apple could be brought out front, leaving the 2 plus B behind. And then we would have this. That would be factoring out the apple, see? We want to do that. It's just that the apple here is the large factor of A plus 1. That's the thing that needs to actually factor out that they have in common. So what do I mean by that? I mean that this whole thing needs to be brought out front as a common factor, leaving the 2 plus B behind. What would it look like? A plus 1 on the outside here, and then leave your 2 plus B behind. Now it's factored. And if we wanted, we could go back and prove that that final result actually is equivalent to the original. All we'd have to do to make that happen is multiply A times 2 and do A times B, 1 times 2, and 1 times B. Let's see what it is. You get AB plus 2A plus 2 plus B. And it's true. They match.